This is a proof of concept showing how we can use Claude as an AI assistant with CALM. In this video, I showed the adaptions required for the prompting layer so Claude can drive the same architecture as code workflow. This lets architects and developers use Claude's strength, reasoning, long context, and planning. This slide shows the directory and file structure that makes Claude work with CALM. In GitHub Copilot, CALM uses custom prompt files. For Claude, we map those into skill-based structure instead. The important takeaway is that CALM prompts still exist. We're just relocating and repackaging them so Claude can read them. Nothing in the CALM CLI changes. We're swapping out the AI assistant by changing how prompts are delivered. This file is the heart of the integration. SKILL.md is Claude's equivalent to Copilot's chat mode prompt. If you compare this with CALM.chatmode.md, you'll see it's almost identical with just front matter that is Claude specific. There are other possible Claude front matter options available for use. That means all the CALM knowledge, commands, and behavior stay the same. We don't rewrite CALM prompts, we just adapt them to Claude's format. I'll now show using Claude as an AI assistant for CALM. In the demo, I'll show how to invoke the CALM skill and use it to answer architecture questions, define and validate an architecture, and generate web-viewable architecture diagrams. From the user's perspective, nothing changes except now Claude is the AI doing the work. In the interest of time, some portions of this video will be sped up. I'm currently set up in the directory that I'm using for this proof of concept of using Claude as an AI assistant for CALM. So first, let me show you the directory I'm in. I've already pre-set up the Claude skill files for CALM. So let's look at that. Okay, so within the .claude subdirectory, I have a skills subdirectory, and then within skills, I have this CALM architecture assistant subdirectory, and in it, I have the skill.md file and the calm.prompt subdirectory, and the calm-prompt subdirectory has all the specific skills and instructions for the different CALM components. Okay, with that, we'll now start Claude. And the first thing I'll do is I'll ask what type of skills are available. Okay, and it comes back and says there are basically two skills, but the one we're interested in is the CALM architecture assistant. So with that, we'll type in slash, and we can see this skill is already recognized and it's highlighted initially. So we'll just take that. Okay, and you can see it's now starting to load the CALM instructions, reading in the different instruction files. And it now says it's read in the instruction files and it's now ready to help us with the FINOS CALM architectures. Okay, so we'll ask our first question. What makes up an architecture? Okay, and here it now gives a definition of what makes up an architecture. Says it's different key components. It says what must be in what each definition, and the top level properties are nodes, relationships, flows, controls, and metadata. Naming conventions should be okay, and it says after we create an architecture, you must run a validate. All right, so let's ask a little bit more about nodes. So what are node types? Okay, what are node types? And it says here are the different standard node types in CALM, actor, ecosystem, system, and so on. And it also looks like we can define our own custom node types. Okay, that looks good. So now let's go and start create our own small architecture. It's a big one, so I'm just going to copy and paste it in. So let's see. So here I'm saying create an architecture named mysample.architecture.json. This is matching the recommended standard from earlier. Then I'm in it asking to put in a node called user of type actor and connect it to a node called the application of type system, and then connect the application to a node called database of type database. Okay, so let's, with that in place, let's ask the CALM assistant to help us with this. Okay, now it looks like it's provided a sample looking to what it's going to do. So here's the definition. I think that looks right from the required metadata. Here I have an actor called my user, I have my application, the system, and I have the database, and I have the relationships, the connections from the user to the application, and from the application to the database. So it's asking, do I want permission to do it? Yep, looks good. So we'll say yes. Okay, and it's looking like it's going to validate the architecture automatically, so that's good. So we'll say yes to this. All right, that looks like it's validated the architecture, and it's validated successfully, so that's good. All right, so now let's ask it to generate the documentation. So let's see. Well, again, this is a kind of a long prompt, so let me just kind of copy it in. Right. Looks like I missed the first part of the prompt. All right, so we're going to ask it to generate the architecture documentation for my sample architecture JSON and put that in a directory called docs/html. All right, that looks reasonable. So we'll now let it go. All right, so it's going to run the calm docify command. This looks right to me, so we'll say yes. Okay, now it looks like it's creating the required files for the documentation. Okay, and it's now going to also start the small server where I can view the architecture documentation. All right, so we're going to say start the server. Okay, it's starting to run the required commands, so now it's asking permission if it can do change the directory and install the required dependencies. We'll say yes. Okay, and now it's asking permission to start. the server. So we'll say yes. Okay, and here we go. It brought up a web browser. I think we're still waiting for the server to start. Okay, and here we have. Alright, so the server started, and now we have the architecture. And let's see, we have the three nodes, the user, the application, the database, and the relationships, the connection from the user to the application. And we can see this here, application. Okay, so this looks like it created the architecture and created the documentation for us. This ends the POC, and thank you for your time.